was feeling uncomfortable and I was looking for comfort.
Yeah.
And it's like, where can I find that comfort within myself?
Yeah. Someone to confirm or accept for me that I'm okay exactly as I am. No matter how I show up, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right? I'm enough. I'm exactly as I'm supposed to be.
Do you give yourself permission to be 100% your true, authentic self? Do you even know who that person is? How much of your life do you spend trying to fit into boxes that other people have given you? Boxes of religion or gender, cultural norms, femininity, masculinity. Who is the real you? And how can you give yourself permission to be 100% yourself? Let's see what the horses have to say about that. So what's happening there?
I was just like, I've been thinking before, it's like the feeling I get when I walk into a room and I don't know anyone, and then I kind of just choke up and go funny, and then my intention has been to connect with Odie, and every time I go to, like, even just be closer to her space-wise, she walks away.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, at the moment I don't really have a feeling of what I want. It's like there's like the last couple of times I've been here with the herd, it's like I felt like I've sunk into a space where I've been very comfortable and it's calm, and all of a sudden I feel like there's this a couple of times I've been in a situation where I've been with adults and essentially they've rejected me being there, and then I really go back into like this small space where I feel like each time I've not been out of control and I'm just like burst into tears. It's almost like a feeling like I'm not worthy of being in the room.
It makes you feel small.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Is it okay if I put my hand on
Yeah, yeah.
When's the first time you remember feeling that? Diminished, contracted?
Yeah. See, I've thought about that before, like, because there's been 2 times in the last year that I've been in this space and an adult has just like said something along the lines of, oh, do you mind leaving? We need to talk about XYZ. And then feeling, that's why I was like, okay, I'm not worthy of being in this room to hear what they have to say, or like I'm young and small. But I haven't been able to think of a moment in childhood that something happened that I felt like rejected and like unlovable, essentially. I know with my mum, there's she always showed up practically, but I was never seen emotionally.
Yeah. She never held a space of love and acceptance for you.
No.
Yeah. Were you able to be soft and emotional with her ever? Could you go into sadness with her? Would she hold space for you with that?
I could possibly be sad, but she would just try to give me some practical advice. She wouldn't just embrace me as I was, or as well I was sad. I don't know how things tie in together at this moment. I can see this, like,
Well, Odalina is the embodiment of the Divine Mother, right? Unconditional love, right? And space holding. And interestingly, she is having some pain on her left side, right?
Yeah.
Which is the feminine side of the body.
Yeah.
The yin side of the body.
Yeah.
The emotional side of the body, right? The being side.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting place to start, right? Which is, what is your relationship with your emotional self, the feminine aspect of you, and holding space for that in your life?
Yeah.
Right?
See, I feel like, or I've always said, I reside a lot within, like, I feel very feminine as a human. And then I've always thought, okay, I reject this masculinity.
Why? Why would you reject it?
I feel like it's rough, and it's could be brutal kind of thing.
And were people rough and brutal with you in your life?
Well, I don't know if this is it, but like, I was talking to Jeannie on the way over, and I had just turned 17, and there was a sexual experience I had with a person he was 28 and I was 17.
You were very young.
Yeah. And I was just like, in that moment I said yes the whole way through, so it was consensual, but I dissociated.
Part of you was not giving consent.
No.
Yeah. And that part of you didn't voice itself in the moment.
No, yeah, I didn't set any boundaries. Yeah.
And how did you feel about that?
I suppose afterwards I felt like, how could that person not have seen me or felt me? Or why would I have to, like, not as overt, but why do I have to voice how I'm feeling for someone to honour that? And I feel like something I've done in childhood is I don't voice how I'm feeling because it's not received.
So previously, when you have shared a no or shared your authentic, true feeling, it wasn't received well.
No. I feel like I've got better at practical boundaries with my mother in the last year, but it didn't mean that I shared emotionality with her. Interestingly, the more I gave her boundaries for what I didn't accept within our relationship, the more she became emotional with me, and often she would break down and cry. And I've seen there's a dynamic with my mother where I can see her when she gets into an emotional space, even though she's 54, she looks like a little girl again. And that's because she wasn't a seen or felt kid by her mother.
Yeah. So she repeated the same pattern.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Do you feel like you want to go over to Odie at all?
Yeah.
What's your check in with yourself first and see if you feel comfortable here, if you want to walk somewhere else, where do you feel safe?
Yeah, I feel like I could go around here.
So I hear Odie asking being with yourself in your energy space and be comfortable there.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm hearing from her right now is that she wants you to practice finding that space before you come in to share space with her. Right?
Okay.
So that's kind of her ask of you right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can just take a minute to be.
Yeah.
I'll be in my energy space.
Okay.
You be in yours.
Good. Yeah.
See how you feel. So I'm feeling that they want to work with Ben from a distance to help him reset his energy body. I'll just say that in a generic way. But it really feels like to just really help him pull his energy into himself and be okay with it being there. And I'll tell him that later. That feels really important. Like that needs to happen first before any sort of hands-on interaction with Udi can happen.
Right.
Because I feel like she'll just walk away again. The truth of who you are. What would you say? Because one of the messages I heard from Odie earlier was see your truth. Whatever that means to you, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of what has happened to you in the past or the things that you've been through, who are you, right? And what is the truth of who you are, what you're here to do, what you want to heal right now, right? What is the truest truth? And can you stand in that space and hear that?
I feel like, because I feel like there's one aspect of that could be like what I feel like I'm here to do, and one aspect is like just who am I in truth.
How about both of those?
Both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's interesting. Earlier while I was picking up poo, I had a thought. I was like, it was very random, but it was like, how did it go? It felt like I'm a sister that's been kicked out of the sisterhood, kind of thing. I don't know how that, I feel very, when I'm alone, I feel like I can really embody the femininity that feels good to me.
Do you allow yourself to do that in other circumstances?
No. No.
Because it doesn't feel, or it isn't what?
It's not, for me, it's like, I feel like I don't have lots of thoughts about these things, but it's more energetically and emotionally. If I'm in a space, it's just, that's not a possibility. But I'm not thinking that necessarily. It's just, I kind of shift myself and compromise myself in a way to be different or accommodate the space that I'm in. Interesting, while I was just over here, I had a memory come back with my mum that I had spent the day with one of my best friends as little kids. We were probably like 6 or 7, and we were like wearing dresses the whole day, and we had been like creating this dance anyway, and then we wanted to like perform the dance for our parents, and I was really nervous to do that. And I went to hug my mum, and like I wrapped myself around her chest, and then she pushed me off and said, "Please don't do that." And I remember, even though that may have been a boundary that she needed to set, that felt like rejection to me and being pushed away.
And did you feel in that moment that that was the truest expression of who you were yet in that, up to that point in your life, in that moment, and she wasn't accepting it?
Yeah, I mean, like I spent a lot of time in that feminine space as a kid, but then again, in that time I was obviously feeling insecure about being that in front of these people. So I don't know whether I was trying that on or that was how I was really had been feeling. I'm not sure.
Did you tell yourself any stories because of that experience? Any deeply held beliefs?
Nothing that comes up automatically. Yeah.
If you moved to hug your mum when you weren't wearing a dress, would she hug you or would she still push you away?
Yeah, like she would hug me, but it was whether it was like time permitting or whether there was something more pressing to do, then that would be her priority.
So was hugging for her a bit of a chore that she did for you and not something that she would want to do or enjoy doing?
Yeah, I would say that's correct.
Today in this session. So the divine mamas that we have here in this herd are really holding space for you.
Yeah.
And so are the babies. And what's interesting about what Zeta did earlier that I was thinking, oh, it was a message for me. I actually think it's a message for you too, which is that Zeta is this incredible spirit, right? You saw her, she was bucking, and she's just got so much life. And for weeks, as I've come here, I've seen her kind of like, and who knows, I'm sure other days she wasn't that way, because she may have been that way only around me. And I kept thinking, what's going on? That spark is being repressed. Why isn't she showing it? And I kept thinking, you know, maybe she needed some healing. Of course, I wasn't getting the message, but you know, what feels really relevant right now is that when you have a truth inside of you that's fiery and bright and powerful and spicy and different and unique, whatever it might be, but you don't express it because others around you either aren't able to appreciate it or value it or hold space for it, it ultimately results in you diminishing, right? And depressing and becoming less than you actually are. And when you do maybe you are spicy, maybe you stir the hurt up a little bit, but you're being your whole self, and it is so beautiful to see that. And when she is that way, she's more alive than any other moment.
Yes.
Right? And more her true self.
Yeah.
Right?
Interestingly, when the last couple of times I've been here, she has, from my expectation of what I had seen her as in the videos, and like that kind of fiery nature that she has, she wasn't expressing that to me either. She was,
So maybe there's a message in there for both of us, right? About allowing yourself to be less than you actually are, because you're afraid that those around you won't A, accept it, B, honor it, even value it or hold space. Maybe they'll outright reject it, right? But is that reason enough for you to be less than you are? Because the person who's actually suffering is you and me, right? Because we're not living our truth, which circles back to what Odie says. And with her left leg, which is her feminine leg, when I had no idea she was injured. So when I showed up today and I went, oh my gosh, what's going on? She said, see your truth and step forward into it. Change is hard, but you have to move forward. Otherwise you're stuck in lameness and in pain and smallness, right? Which isn't who you truly are.
No.
Right?
I suppose for me at the moment, like I don't understand like necessarily stepping into truth, what that truth is going to look like, but that may become clearer in time.
Yeah.
And
I think that's why the initial message from her was, what is your truth? Figure that out, find congruence with that in yourself, your whole self, mental, emotional, spiritual, cellular, every level. And once you can align fully with that truth and integrate it through your whole self, now you're ready to play, right? Now you're ready to dance with these magnificent beings who will then help you expand it and grow it and contort you in these amazing ways that will help you be the magnificent person that you were always meant to be, right?